Jane has openly shared that sugar used to be her weakness. For years, she enjoyed it like anyone else. But she noticed something most people ignore. Every time she gave in to sugar, she paid for it. Her energy dipped, her joints ached, her skin felt different. Eventually, she made a decision that many people never have the courage to make. She cut refined sugar out almost entirely, and that single change slowed the clock. Sugar drives inflammation, weakens collagen, and dulls mental focus. By removing it, Jane wasn't just protecting her waistline. She was protecting her brain, her skin, and even her memory. Ask yourself, how often do you still sweeten your tea or coffee? Imagine the difference if you stopped the way Jane did. The second thing Jane avoids is processed food. In her world, food that comes in shiny packages or fast food wrappers doesn't feel like real nourishment. She grew up when home cooking was the norm, and even after years in the busiest Hollywood lifestyle imaginable, she returned to that grounding truth. Real food gives real energy. Vegetables, lean protein, whole grains, those were her staples, not because they were trendy, but because they worked. Jane doesn't chase fads. She leans on food from the earth, and the results show up in her skin, her strength, and her stamina. But avoiding the wrong foods is only half the story. The real secrets lie in what Jane actually eats, and here's where her habits get interesting. She's spoken about her love for salmon and other oily fish. Why? Because they're rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which protect the brain and heart. Think about it. Jane is in her mid-80s, yet she still acts on screen, delivers interviews, and maintains clarity that many people in their 50s would envy. That isn't luck. It's nutrition at work. Every bite of salmon has been an investment in her future. Leafy greens are another cornerstone of her plate. Spinach, kale, broccoli. For Jane, these aren't side dishes. They're the main event. Packed with vitamins and minerals, they strengthen bones, protect the immune system, and keep skin glowing. Imagine her dinner plate, a vibrant pile of dark green leaves, maybe drizzled with olive oil, served next to grilled fish. Nothing fancy, but powerful in every way. She knows that a strong body in your 80s is built from the inside out, and greens are one of her strongest weapons. What sets Jane apart is that she never frames these choices as a punishment. She doesn't talk about food in terms of deprivation. Instead, she talks about how it makes her feel. She noticed long ago that when she ate clean, she had the energy to work, to exercise, to think clearly. And when she didn't, her body reminded her right away. That simple feedback loop is what shaped her philosophy. Food is fuel. Every choice either moves you forward or holds you back. Of course, food is only half the story. Jane became a cultural icon in the 1980s because of her workout tapes, and while she doesn't push herself with extreme exercise anymore, she never abandoned the principle of movement. Even now, she keeps her body in motion. Walking, stretching, light resistance, these are part of her daily rhythm. She understands something many people forget. If you stop moving, age catches you faster. If you keep moving, your body remembers what it was designed to do. And here's where Jane's real secret shines through. Yes, she avoids sugar. Yes, she eats salmon and greens. Yes, she moves her body every day. But underneath all of that, the true reason she looks and feels decades younger is because she stays engaged. Engaged with her food, her exercise, her work, her relationships. That engagement feeds her as much as any vitamin or nutrient. It's why when people see Jane Fonda today, they don't just see an older actress. They see proof that your habits can rewrite the rules of aging. The more you study Jane Fonda's life, the clearer it becomes that her health isn't about quick fixes. It's about consistency layered with smart adjustments over time. She never claimed to be perfect. She admits she enjoyed sweets, rich foods, even periods of neglecting herself. But what sets her apart is that she learned, adapted, and moved forward. By the time she reached her 70s and 80s, those adjustments became the difference between decline and vitality. One of the biggest shifts Jane made was leaning toward a plant-forward way of eating. She doesn't call herself a strict vegan, but she intentionally limits red meat and heavy animal products. Over the years, she noticed that after a meat-heavy meal, she felt sluggish, weighed down, and less sharp. In contrast, meals built around beans, lentils, grains, and colourful vegetables left her energized. She took that feedback seriously. Today, her meals look more like vibrant plant-based bowls than old-fashioned meat and potato plates. It isn't about rules, it's about results. She feels better, so she sticks with it. Alongside her plant focus, Jane makes room for healthy fats that nourish her from within. Olive oil, avocados, walnuts, and almonds are everyday staples. But instead of talking about them as beauty boosters, she emphasizes what they do for strength. Omega-rich fats reduce inflammation in her joints, keeping her moving fluidly even at 86. They also support memory and focus. When you see Jane give a sharp, witty interview, that mental clarity is supported in part by decades of feeding her brain with the right fats. Another quiet decision that shaped her longevity is how little alcohol she drinks. While many in Hollywood leaned on cocktails and champagne, Jane gradually realized alcohol drained her energy and made her mornings sluggish. She decided it wasn't worth it. Water, teas, and natural juices became her default. Staying hydrated and skipping regular alcohol gave her body space to repair, recover, and stay sharp. For Jane, this wasn't about restriction. It was about waking up, ready to work, ready to move, ready to live. Of course, Jane is forever tied to fitness. Her workout tapes in the 1980s became a cultural phenomenon. But what's more impressive is how her approach evolved with age. In her 40s and 50s, she embraced high-energy aerobics. In her 60s, she shifted towards strength training to protect bone density. And now in her 80s, she focuses on flexibility, balance, and low-impact routines. This evolution shows the secret most people miss. Longevity isn't about clinging to one method. It's about adapting your body's needs as you go. By staying flexible in her approach, Jane kept exercise sustainable across decades. That's why she's still able to move with ease while many of her peers have slowed down. But what truly separates Jane from others her age isn't just diet or exercise. It's how she manages her inner world. Stress, left unchecked, can age a person as quickly as poor food. Jane has lived through divorces, public criticism, and painful losses. Instead of letting those moments define her, she learned how to process them. She practices mindfulness, breathing, and meditation. She doesn't hold everything inside. She talks, she reflects, she lets go. That emotional release protects her body from the hidden wear and tear of chronic stress. Science now proves stress shortens telomeres, the protective caps on our DNA that control aging. Jane may not use the science terms, but she lives the truth. Calming the mind slows the body's decline. Purpose is another thread that keeps her young. In part 1, we saw how she stays engaged with her daily life, but it goes deeper. Jane ties her energy to missions bigger than herself. She's outspoken on climate issues, women's rights, and social justice. Even in her 80s, she leads protests, gives speeches, and works on new projects. For her, activism isn't a hobby, it's fuel. Having something meaningful to fight for keeps her mind sharp and her body moving. Many people retire and shrink into routine. Jane expanded. That sense of purpose gives her a fire that no diet alone could create. This is the part of her story that often gets overlooked. People ask what she eats or how she exercises, but they miss that her inner drive may be her strongest health habit of all. Food fuels her body, purpose fuels her spirit, and when you combine the two, you create longevity that feels unshakable. So what can we take from Jane Fonda's example? It isn't about copying her plate item for item or repeating her exact workouts. It's about understanding the principles behind her choices. She pays attention to feedback from her body. She adapts her habits with age instead of fighting against change. She chooses foods that give energy instead of stealing it. She moves daily, but in ways that suit her current stage of life. She reduces stress instead of burying it. And she ties it all together with a mission that makes her feel alive. At 86, Jane Fonda is living proof that aging doesn't have to be about decline. It can be about transformation. She's not the same as she was in her 40s, but in many ways she's stronger, wiser, sharper, and more disciplined. That transformation is built on habits anyone can adopt. Avoid sugar and processed foods. Fill your plate with plants and healthy fats. Limit alcohol. Keep moving, but adapt with age. Manage stress before it manages you. And most importantly, never lose your sense of purpose. If you take even one of those lessons and start today, you're already rewriting your future. Because the truth is this: if Jane Fonda can stand tall at 86 with energy, clarity, and grace, there's no reason you can't add strength and vitality to your own years. The habits may be simple, but their impact is life-changing. And if you want more stories like this, more real-life secrets from people who defy age and rewrite what's possible, make sure to subscribe. Jane's journey is just one example, and there are countless others to learn from. Each one could be the spark that inspires your own transformation.